Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily, the first English news program in Poland. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. Following the disastrous incident of the coal mine fire in the CSM mine in Kownia, Czech Republic, a national mourning is commenced in Poland to express not only the sorrows but the solidarity of the Polish nation for the allied country as well as the majority Polish miners who lost their lives. As the mourning commences, rescuers from both Czech Republic and Poland continues to work ceaselessly in an attempt to extract every victim of the tragedy.
About 200 rescuers from the Czech Republic and Poland are taking shifts underground in the rescue mission. The harsh environment of the mine, exacerbated by the high temperature after the fire, further complicates the operation. The oxygen supplies and protective clothing have a hard time withstanding the harsh encounter of more than 4 hours at a time. The ignition of methane and the explosion that followed occurred on Thursday, while the miners were 800 meters underground. 13 miners were confirmed to have lost their lives, of which 12 were Poles and 1 Czech. Earlier this afternoon, rescuers were able to penetrate a fragment of the area of the catastrophe at the CSM mine and retrieve the bodies of 3 Polish miners killed by the methane explosion. Crowds can be seen gathering near the site of the tragedy, lighting candles, praying and folding flowers, while the sirens can be heard sounding off at noon around Czech Republic in honor of the victims of the catastrophe. Flags around Poland can be seen flown at half-mast, while officials reminded citizens to keep their fellow brethren in their thoughts and prayers. Mourning of Poland. Flags around Poland can be seen flown at half-mast, while officials reminded citizens to keep their fellow brethren in their thoughts and prayers.
A tsunami believed to be triggered by volcanic eruption claimed the lives of over 200 people in Indonesia during a busy holiday weekend. The number of injured were counted over 800 yesterday, and reports of missing persons have also been increasing as the damage continues to be brought forth by the natural disaster.
Tsunami waves hit the coast of the Sunda Strait between the Java and Sumatra Islands with enormous force at around 9:30 p.m. local time.
Sensor yang ada di
The meteorological agency registered an eruption of the Anak Krakatau volcano at around 9:03 p.m. local time. The tsunami came 24 minutes later. It's possible that the rocks surrounding Anak fell into the sea and caused the massive waves to reach the Sunda Strait beaches.
Jadi dari
Anak Krakatau is one of the most active volcanoes in the world, having erupted several times in the past few months. Local government warned everyone not to approach a 2-kilometer radius around the volcano.
Rekomendasi dari BMKG,
People shouldn't spend time at the beaches and should stay away from the coasts, since the danger of another tsunami is still very likely.
waktu ini.
The tsunami took more than 200 victims. There are no foreigners among the dead. Condolences for the islanders and their families come from all over the world. Andrzej Duda, the president of Poland, also showed his support in an official letter to the president of Indonesia, Joko Widodo. With great sadness have I received the news of the tsunami wave that hit the Sunda Strait, leaving many victims and hundreds of wounded. In the name of the Polish nation and from myself, I would like to convey our most sincere condolences to all the victims and their families. Indonesia is situated in a very active seismic region, which is part of the so-called Ring of Fire. This region is well known for its frequent volcano eruptions and earthquakes.
French actor Jean Reno, famous for his role as the justice-seeking protagonist in Luc Besson's blockbuster Léon, is now performing another role, tasked to remind people of what Christmas is really all about. To learn more, answer the invitation issued by the Polish National Foundation to visit Poland and share a true Polish Christmas.
Allez, viens. Papy!
Princesse.
Oh, il est petit. Aussi petit que moi.
Ferme tes yeux, ma chérie. Imagine un beau pays. Un pays où la période de Noël est la plus magique au monde. Et les sapins sont si hauts qu'ils touchent les plafonds.
Il est loin, ce pays?
Pas si loin. Il y a de la neige partout. Et tu peux apprendre à voler.
Est-ce qu'il y a des princesses?
Non. Mais il y a des loups. Mais surtout, il y a des friandises, plein de bonnes choses. Les gens sont bienveillants et tout le monde chante.
Mais j'en connais, moi aussi.
Et tu sais ce qu'il y a de meilleur?
Non, quoi?
Le Père Noël arrive la veille.
Quand est-ce qu'on y va?
Demain.
That's it for today. See you next time on Poland Daily. But stay tuned for the Poland Daily Weather Report, followed by Poland Daily Business. Tonight, we might expect a relatively mild weather. Only northeastern part of the country will see freezing temperatures below 0 centigrade. The Polish mountains, located in the southern part of the country, will measure 2 degrees and 0 near the Baltic coast. For this week, Monday will be quite warm, with 2 degrees Celsius in the north, up to 4 in the south. From Olsztyn in the north to Katowice in the south, a line of freezing showers will be observed. All of us who happen to be driving home for Christmas should beware of slippery roads. Temperatures in Europe are rising as we observe the western part of the continent with light rains and temperatures over 10 degrees, while center and eastern part of Europe faces temperatures below the freezing point. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poland Daily Business. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. The copper production giant KGHM considers generating electric power from renewable sources such as wind and photovoltaic. KGHM is not only one of the world's largest companies in copper mining business, but is also the largest consumer of electricity in Poland. The rise in utility bills motivated the company's management to invest their own energy-producing capabilities. According to the CEO of the company, Hrudziński, by the end of 2030, half of the energy demand will be supplied by the company's own power plants and renewable sources. The switch could also affect KGHM sales due to environmental conscious customers paying attention to the way power is being generated. Right now, KGHM produces about a third of energy it consumes. Bracia Sadowice, or Apple Orchard Brothers, is a Polish brand of apple producers that aim at the upscale products. The brand started a year ago and have already achieved a turnover of 15 million Polish zlotys, or about $4 million US. The owner of the producer group has over 300 hectares of land that produces apples for pressed juice, smoothies, and offer unwaxed fresh apples packed in a breathable net instead of a foil. Bracia Sadowice started with about 12 products and now sells over 30 different selection of items. Poles are recorded to spend about 1.4 billion zlotys per year on fresh apples. Branding commodity products are creating higher added value as the future direction taken for whole food industries in Poland, and follows the step of the Polish dairy companies who are now investing in marketing their products unique from competitors. That's it for today. Next up, Alexander Wojcicki and his special guests.
You are watching Poland Daily Business Edition, and our guest tonight is Piotr Palutkiewicz of Instigos Institute. Sir, welcome to our show.
Good evening.
We are watching the NATO summit in Brussels these days, and obviously the topic is Donald Trump's tough position on increase of the defense spending. To what degree this is beneficial to business?
Yeah, what's the most interesting thing on that issue is that Trump, before that summit, he switched the main issue of that summit from defending issue, from the weapon issue, to the business things, to the business issue. Obviously, Trump is a business guy, so he's trying to make business wherever he can and whenever he can. Surprisingly, Poland may benefit on Trump position on that negotiations. We have to point out that Trump, his main point is to make business. So he's trying to switch Germany's position on gaining the gas from Russia to United States. We have to know that the United States got a surplus of gas, so he's trying to find some new markets for those commodities.
Now, this will be jobs for United States, also jobs in weapon manufacturing sector in the United States. Europe has its own defense companies that are pretty much on the level of with Americans. So will Europe lose in this business, in these deals?
It might benefit, but Donald Trump started a trade war around the world. He started a trade war with China. Now he's starting new bargaining in Europe. So the Germans will be the main opposition side of that negotiations. But surprisingly, Poland may benefit due to the Donald Trump position, because we've got an issue when it comes to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and we may benefit on that negotiations, because as we know, or all the audience know, that the Nord Stream pipeline 2 is a damage for our security, is a damage for our economy, and it's a damage to the European solidarity. So due to Trump help and due to Donald Trump position, that negotiations may change now, and German and Russia trade on that pipeline might not work in the end. So that's what Poland should look forward to, and I hope that pipeline won't be successful in the end.
Well, if you look at this conversation of Mr. Trump, his opposition to the Nord Stream 2 is obvious and very much visible. The question is to what degree this is a real business position, this is a real point, or this is a bargaining point, and then he will give it up, let's say, on Monday while speaking to Mr. Putin.
I would like to know the answer to that question too, because as we said in the beginning, that Donald Trump is a good trader, a good negotiator. So he's preparing his position in those negotiations, but by pointing out that issue. But in the end, maybe he will just get back with those issue, and in the end, nothing have changed, and he will fly to Russia, and the all negotiations won't change anything. But in the end, it's a good way to point out his point of view in the beginning, and to increase his position in the beginning of those summit, which we said in the beginning is changing and switching from the defending issue to economy issue. But as you said in the beginning of that conversation, those two areas are very closely connected, and we should know that defense is economy, and the economy may be connected very directly with the defense issues.
We will follow these things definitely very closely. And that was it for tonight's Poland Daily Business. Piotr Palutkiewicz was our guest, sir. Thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you very much.
And please watch us next time.
Welcome to Poland Daily Culture. In today's episode, we're going to explore the much acclaimed Frédéric Chopin concerts in Warsaw. Frédéric Chopin, the great composer and pianist, is a much loved and respected figure, not just in the classical music scene, but all over Poland, and particularly here in Warsaw. This sentiment was emphasised back in 2010 when Poland staged numerous festivals, competitions and exhibitions for the 200th anniversary of his birth. The Chopin concerts offer some of the most talented and intriguing musicians the opportunity to showcase their talent. From established names in the classical scene to up-and-coming pianists. The concerts have become a staple throughout the summer in the Polish capital, and 2019 will see its 60th season. The first recital, here in Łazienki Park, coincided with the reconstruction of the famous Chopin monument in 1959. Over the years, the concerts have evolved, such as contemporary composers were added to the lineup in 1970s. In the 1980s, famous actors reciting romantic poetry were added for a vocal element to the proceedings. Nowadays, there are 2 concerts every Sunday throughout the warmer months. The concerts are free to the general public and run from May through to late September. how Chopin has influenced contemporary culture?
It's funny because sometimes I think that Chopin does not need us as the institute, as a museum, as a people trying to perform his work properly, which is not very easy, like editors, like authors of books. But we do this, and somehow it works, and it has amazing impact. Let's start from Chopin and let's delve more. Let's be more open to more classical music, to more new sounds, generally to music. And it's good that Chopin shows us this way of very wonderful art. So on one way, I think we don't need, Chopin doesn't need us. We need Chopin. And about this impact, sometimes when people try to use Chopin, they are so in love with some piece and try to improvise on it, or to make a ballet or other rearrangement of his work. It's not easy. It's not the material that you can sculpt easy. It's really hard to not to destroy his work and rearrange it in your own and to rearrange it in your own way. So every time I say, okay, let's use it, let's see it how it is, but let's be careful not to lose Chopin in this in using his work.
The Wojcinki Park doubles as a backdrop to numerous cultural activities. Chopin and the musical festival he inspired is one of such major prestigious events.
There is a fantastic festival called Chopin and His Europe. And it happens in many concert halls in Warsaw. And it's really fantastic because it's kind of, the best, the fresh and the best from all over the world in classical music, but especially in Chopin. What we could find in every August in Warsaw.
Chopin's compositions not only stand alone as masterpieces in and of themselves, but would later on inspire countless contemporary artists influenced by the imaginations and sensitivities of the 19th century's musical genius.
As I said, Chopin's innovatory thinks about harmony, but what it really is the chromatism. That means making a melodic line, very simple one, but changing the key all the time. And that's what's really special about him. And that also leads some other pianists, contemporary pianists, to interpret it in many ways and also arrange it. And this, I use the word jazz because a lot of pianists like Leszek Możdżer, jazz pianists, or Piotr Orzechowski, piano hooligan, makes his own interpretation of Chopin because of these vital melodies that are so good to perform them in other ways, using some other harmonies. But today I will also be showing you my compositions. I, as a composer, as a contemporary composer, and many times inspired by the harmony of Chopin and this spirit. This will be a piece that maybe doesn't resemble Chopin very much, or maybe you will hear some shadows of Chopin's Nocturne. Thank you.
Our guest, Dr. Mirosław Czado, well-versed historian and guide of the museum, recites the events under the occupation of Warsaw by the Germans, giving us a more detailed look into the nooks and crannies of the Varsovian streets during the time of distress. How did everyday life in occupied Warsaw look like?
Życie codzienne w okupowanej Warszawie niewątpliwie zmieniło się.
Daily life in occupied Warsaw certainly changed for the worst for its residents. Many of them not only lost the quality of their life, but also social services and medical facilities, which were shut down by the Germans.
Placówki medyczne, wprowadzają normy żywieniowe.
They introduced food rations, which were only 650 calories per day. Additionally, a whole new policy against our nation was set up. Public school program was diminished. Germans did not intend for Poles to be educated. They were supposed to be delegated to do physical labor.
Nie mieli być narodem wykształconym, mieli być narodem, który będzie przeznaczony tylko do ciężkiej fizycznej pracy.
Citywide curfew was also introduced and it varied between 7 or 8 p.m.
Albo o godzinie 19, albo o godzinie 20.
What the curfew meant was that one could not be out on the streets past the established hour without a valid pass.
Pustki nie mógł przebywać na ulicy. Osoby takie złapane.
Those who were captured without a pass were sent either to a concentration camp or to a labor camp in the Third Reich.
Niemcy określali dla niemieckiej
Roundups were carried out routinely with the simple aim to gather free labor to work for, as the Germans would call it, the German master race.
Zwalczaniu zamachów na niemieckie dzieło odbudowy oznaczało to, że
At one point in 1943, an order is issued to eradicate the attacks on the German art of reconstruction, meaning 300 people a week would be taken off the streets and shot without prior announcement.
Miało być w ten sposób zarządzanie strachem. Jednocześnie
The aim behind it was to instill fear in the society and rule over them with that fright.
Podziemnej, która to w różny sposób
The introduction of radical terror led to a radical resistance from the Home Army, which had to move underground and fight a civilian war with the occupant.
Malowanie znaku Polski walczącej to jest taki znak, który ja mam tutaj.
The term civilian war meant counteracting against German propaganda, painting the anchor logo of the fighting Poland on your jackets. The symbol of the turtle with the message "Work slowly for the Germans" was a statement calling for passive resistance against the occupying nation. Not only did the newspapers spread the news of the war around town, they also included lists of Poland's traitors.
Wprowadzono kodeks postępowania, czyli jak Polak powinien się zachowywać w sytuacji właśnie, w której się znalazł w okupacji, pod karą grzywny lub nawet śmierci.
A special code of conduct was established and it described the means and ways of how to act under occupation, with an introduction of a fine or even death penalty for breaking silence or collaborating with the Germans. However, the daily life was mainly marked by striking unemployment.
Więc wiele osób traci pracę, w związku z tym muszą zmienić zawody. Bardzo często są to takie
Most schools were shut down. People lost or had to change their jobs in order to incorporate the needs of the broken economy. Barter became the means of trade, as all money was rendered worthless. Additionally, people are not employed on a full-time basis. Most of them engaged themselves in small trade.
Dorywczo pracuje, handlując różnymi produktami, które tutaj są na terenie Polski.
Joining us here in the museum commemorating the very event that affected the lives of thousands and made an everlasting mark in history is actor and longtime resident of Warsaw, Viktor Skrowanski. His stories and the single tear shed as he recalls them penetrate the passage of time as he shares with us what life is like under the occupation.
Jak wchodziliśmy z ojcem na strych,
my father and I would go up to the attic of the building which I still live in, located on Brzeska Street in Warsaw. We watched as Germans carried out airstrikes on Warsaw. This was a very tall building, so we could see the entirety of the Vistula river bank. To this day, I am associating that view with the interior of a fireplace, with burning coals and smoke going off.
Widać było bardzo, bardzo wyraźnie brzeg Wisły, Warszawę.
That is how Warsaw looked during the war. The emotions that I felt at the time are indescribable.
Węgle rozżarzone są i dym bucha.
I remember sitting in the basement during the occupation, airstrikes, sirens, running down to the basement.
Było to niesamowite uczucie. Pamiętam doskonale wiele przypadków z okupacji.
We slept there many times, whole families lying arm in arm. I remember the prayers when a bomb hit the annex to our building.
Całe noce przespane w piwnicy.
We did not even manage to run down the stairs. The house was rocking on its foundations. People would call for God in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Some plaster fell off the walls and ceiling, but we ended up alive.
Nie zdążyliśmy wszyscy zbiec. Kamienica w posadach, w fundamentach zatrzęsła się. Moja mama miała dwie siostry. Młodszą.
My mother had two sisters. The younger sister had two daughters already and was summoned to be sent to a work camp. This is when my mother's other sister took the youngest sister's place and was taken to Germany.
Wtedy średnia siostra zamiast tej najmłodszej zgłosiła się do tego przymusowej pracy.
I distinctly remember the moment we said our goodbyes. I recall my aunt crying in the train window. We never met again.
Płakała w oknie i żegnała się z nami. Więcej się już nie zobaczyliśmy.
She survived after spending a couple of years in the camp where she met her husband-to-be. They moved to Canada, where she lived out her whole life.
Zmarła po kilkudziesięciu latach. Nie wolno było w czasie okupacji.
You could not possess a radio during the occupation. Control air raids were being conducted to check whether the citizens of Warsaw Prague district, in this case, owned any radios.
Tej prawobrzeżnej Warszawy nie mają w mieszkaniach radioodbiorników.
I remember banging on the door, my father opening the door in a short shirt.
Tu wchodzą Niemcy i rewizja, szukają.
The Germans entered the flat and began their inspection. My father had a radio and did not intend to get rid of it.
Radia owinął w jakąś brudną szmatę jak ten i wcisnął pod moje łóżko.
He wrapped it in a dirty cloth and threw it under my bed.
Latarką świecili, ale nie zainteresował ich pakunek.
The Germans ended up looking under the bed, but fortunately the dirty package did not alarm them.
Tak się mówi, z Pragi jadę na Warszawę.
The day before the uprising began, my mum, along with her two neighbor friends, crossed the bridge to the left coast Warsaw to buy some food, as the resources were sparse. The outbreak of the uprising stopped them there. I recall this lonesome time when my mum did not return home. I think it was 2 weeks. My father was taking care of me by himself.
To jest jak ojciec się mną tylko opiekował. W jaki sposób mama po 2 tygodniach wróciła?
Somehow, Mum returned home after 2 weeks. It turns out that some young Wehrmacht soldier took pity on her and transported a couple of women across the Vistula River on a boat, over to the right coast. My mum wanted to give her golden pendant over to him out of gratitude. He, however, refused to accept it. He only asked to include him in their prayers so that he could survive the war. Yes, there were also some good Germans.
Poprosił tylko tamte Niemiecki, żeby się modlić za niego, aby przeżył wojnę. Także i dobrzy Niemcy też byli.
The German occupation sought to instill terror in the heart of every Polish citizen. Fear, it turns out, is a powerful tool to immobilize the people. But the men and women of Warsaw today is the living proof that even the most terrifying regime can be overcome. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. See you next time on Poland Daily History.
In the first part of our Christmas adventure on Poland Daily Travel, we walked into the Christmas market and talked to some of the vendors, took a look at some of their fine products. The Christmas market holds many mysteries. We saw that Nick was fond of knickknacks, unsurprisingly. Will they get the mulled wine? How good will it taste? Will their ears fall off? Or will they find holiday cheer? Stay tuned to this exciting episode of Poland Daily Travel. It's Christmas in Warsaw.
What's your name?
You make a serious
Beata. This is Beata.
You do make
All
a
right.
serious point how the speaking of language and English particularly over the time I've been in Warsaw has really changed. Now it's far more common. Even if you phone up for a taxi and you speak to them in Polish, as I do, if they detect that you're actually an English speaker, they will answer in English. It's fantastic, really.
Yeah, no,
It makes it very difficult to improve your Polish, of course, because everybody wants to improve their English, which is quite natural.
Well, Poles are very good at languages. Yeah, but traditionally.
It helps
and I
when
guess
you have
there are
such a
reasons
strong
for that.
language.
A lot of visitors. And now, do you have a lot of people from around the world that come here? What kind of countries? I mean, you have.
Yes, England, Greece, Canada.
Canada?
Yeah.
They're not trying to escape the cold in Canada, are they?
No. Oh, probably it's similar in Poland right now.
When I was in the U.S. last year over New Year's and Christmas, we got the comment in the elevator, oh, it must be much colder than this in Poland. It was -20 in Philly. So they don't quite understand that Poland isn't that cold.
Yeah. We don't have polar bears.
You know,
No, we don't.
People think they're polar bears in the street. There's not even any snow. How many of these do you sell every day? Do you know? Is it a lot or?
In the weekend a lot.
In the weekend a lot because there are a lot of people. This is Friday. Are we going to get that soon or? Yeah?
Yes. Red.
Give us all.
Yeah, each one,
the
right?
same, each one. Yeah.
So three?
Yeah, three, please. Yeah. Czerwona, yeah?
Czerwona, yeah. That's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
Red.
Yes,
Czerwona.
red.
Czerwone, right?
Yes, red.
It's wine with
Okay.
spices like.
Mulled wine in English.
Okay, so Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Here's
Christmas.
to beautiful Warsaw and beautiful Poland, and to our friend Beata, our new friend Beata, who has provided us
with a hot
this
drink.
lovely hot drink on a cold day.
Yes.
Thank you, Nostrovia.
That's good.
Nostrovia indeed.
Warms up the body.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your time here.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
very much. So what do we have here?
Well, it has some lace. It looks like lace.
Ceramics.
Lacy jewelry.
Oh, look. This is a ceramic of the old town. Yeah. You see the old town here. It's very nice.
You could also get a mermaid.
Or you can have a mermaid, which is
symbol of Warsaw.
Where's the mermaid?
There.
Right on the bottom. It's.
Oh, right. This is a
interesting looking
mermaid.
mermaid, though.
Grab one of those, will you, Jeff? Grab
Yeah,
one of
why
those
not?
mermaids. Let's look at it, if we can. Yeah. There you go. The symbol of Warsaw. Jeff has in his hand. A mermaid. I like that, actually. Yeah.
I didn't know the mermaid was a redhead, though.
How much is the mermaid?
60 zloty. The hair matches my beard.
Very good.
It's handmade from Poland.
Handmade from Poland, okay. What part of Poland?
Where?
Yes.
I make this.
You make this?
Yeah.
And you're from Warsaw?
No, I live in Warsaw, but in this year I go back to my home, my family home.
Yes.
And I am near Poznań.
Near Poznań?
Yeah.
So this is the western part of Poland?
Yes.
Almost to the German border?
Yeah.
All right. I hear it's a very beautiful city, one of the few places I haven't been in Poland.
Yeah. You was in the Poznań?
No, this is out of the top 10 major cities in Poland, this is the one I'm missing. So this year, for sure, I will come to Poznań.
Okay.
And you make this stuff?
Yes, it's my work and my life.
Fantastic. What's your name?
Patricia.
Patricia.
Yeah.
I'm Will. This is Jeff. Nice
Hi, nice to
Nick.
meet you too.
Hi.
Hello.
And we're just walking
It's your
through the
first
market.
visit in Poland?
No, ma'am. We're talking about Christmas in Warsaw, and also in Poland, but we're in Warsaw today. What about, is this your partner up here?
Yes, it's my husband.
That's your husband?
Yeah.
Oh.
We make this together.
Okay. That's her...
Yeah, we have a very, very small workshop in near Poznań, and make this and live.
And what's your husband's name?
It's Łukasz.
So, okay. Łukasz and, I forgot again.
Patricia.
Patricia. Patricia.
Yes.
And Łukasz make all these great things. We should get a picture of those great things there, yeah?
And those
Thank
lamps
you.
are very attractive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patricia. Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you. Merry Christmas too.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye. He just ran off to talk to a nice lady who stopped by and wanted to know something about Arizona, I think, as probably we all do. It's very warm there right now. Jeff, show us what presents you bought. You said you bought some stuff here?
Well, you know in Poland how you always have to take off your shoes when you come through the door.
Yes, yes.
Babka is very scared that your feet are going to get cold. So for my mom and my sister, I've both bought these slippers that are, well, maybe not this size. They might be a little bit big. Their feet can fit in there. But I bought these, and now my mom wears them every day during the winter in Denver. They're quite nice, and they're not that expensive. I seem to remember, I think about 30 zloty. How much are these? 35, so about spot on there. But very nice. Keep your feet warm and keeps Babka happy because you're not going to get sick.
Babcha.
Babcha. This is the problem.
It's Rondo Babka. Babka's a cake or something. I have no idea.
Babka is a cake, isn't it?
I don't know what I'm talking about. Once again, I have no idea what I'm saying. But, so you just bought those? Did you buy anything else?
Yeah, we got some ear muffs, but this is a little further down where you get close to these Russian hats, the big Russian hats.
Yeah, they're great.
I want to see the big Russian hats.
But the big Russian hats are not as popular here as they used to be.
No?
You don't
Why
see
not?
people wearing them. Maybe they have associations.
Maybe the heating got better.
Maybe the heating got better. And also, a serious point
Global
is,
warming.
I've noticed in the time I've been here, the winters have got warmer.
Okay.
We wouldn't, when I came here 20 odd years ago, we wouldn't be standing here without snow on the ground and without it being actually very, very cold. I mean, it's okay, it's around about freezing, but it actually feels relatively warm. We're halfway through December already.
So you're a believer in climate change?
I'm not, it's not about whether I believe in climate change. I've actually seen in the time I've been in Warsaw that the winters have got warmer and the summers have got slightly more humid so climate the weather has changed.
Do you believe in UFOs too?
No, I don't believe in UFOs. I'm merely reporting what I have experienced.
But I still couldn't see so much snow because the driest season in Warsaw is January and February.
Yeah.
Right.
So even though if you have the cold, you're not going to get the snow.
Exactly.
Oh, look. There's some socks.
Happy socks.
Happy socks.
Mini
these happy
mornings.
socks? No, these aren't happy socks. These are mini morning socks.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
It is. I like long socks.
Here's somebody who's got, this is great stuff. Poland's really famous for
Christmas decorations.
Christmas
these baubles,
decorations, yeah. And here's some great stuff.
Exactly.
Do you make this yourself?
Yes.
One of the 7 doors.
We are local producer from Zielonka. It's about 20 kilometers from here.
Wow. This is such beautiful stuff.
It's
Look at that.
fantastic, isn't it?